Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories, where I go with them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, gonna go over a story titled, My Wife Went on a Girls' Trip. I found a private message between her and her mother saying that she will divorce me if she comes home and the house is dirty. How do I approach/confront her about it? And guys, this story is about a guy. He is 40 years old. He's been married to his wife for 9 years, have his 3-year-old son together. And his wife, as you're going to see as I go into the story, is nothing less than a completely immature, lazy, irresponsible a-hole. And treats him that way. And yet, he's still with her. And he finds info that she went on a girls' trip. And she's talking about divorcing him over something stupid like having a dirty house. And you're going to see in this whole thing how she behaves, how she treats him, all that. And this guy is at the point that he's like, you know what? I'm going to print out some divorce papers and have them ready just in case things get ugly. And he's seeking advice, of course, but also his situation is a perfect example. What happens when a guy allows his wife to behave in all these negative types of ways and doesn't check her on it, doesn't call her on it? It just gets worse and worse and worse. And while certainly this woman here in the story is a total a-hole, this guy isn't helping the situation with his nice guy ways. And if you don't check someone or draw boundaries if someone's taking advantage of you, it's only going to get worse. But also how I'll demonstrate what's really going on here with her. Her actions demonstrate everything that she thinks nothing of this guy. And in situations like that, it is time to cut loose. Even if you get hammered in the divorce, guys, you will survive. Better than be married to someone like this. And again, you're going to see just how this thing plays out. It says here, this is going to be a pretty wordy as I'm still processing what is happening. Sorry if I give too much backstory or not enough. I never asked for relationship advice before because I never thought we needed it until today. Dude, you have needed relationship counseling and coaching for a very long time that you got to this point. My wife, who's 37, and I've been happily, or so I thought, married for 9 years. Dude, your situation doesn't sound very happy to me unless this is what you're used to because maybe you grew up in a family like this. Our anniversary is next week. She just left for a 4-day girls' trip in the city, and I'm staying home to care for our 3-year-old son. You're about to have your anniversary and she's going away on a girls' trip? Really? Yeah, I can tell how much she cares. I wasn't thrilled about it since it's an expensive trip and money is really tight right now, but whatever. So here's the irresponsible part, irresponsible with money. She doesn't get to see these friends very often and they live far away. I suggest that maybe we could all go together and I could spend all day hanging out with our son while she spends time with her friends. We could get a cheaper hotel than the fancy one her friends picked, and she wouldn't have to share a room with them that night. She snores and is self-conscious about it. She did not like this idea, so we agreed I would stay home and she would go by herself instead. There you go. She doesn't want him around. Gee, I wonder why. And I might add also she's going on this girls' trip. And if there's all these issues in their marriage, which you're about to see, and she's very, very much wanting to go on this girls' trip, even though money's tight, tells me she's planning her big move here. Our car recently broke down and we can't afford to take it to the mechanic. So I decided to work on it over the weekend. Smack! Dude, money's so tight that you can't pay to have the car worked on? I mean, I hope you have 2 cars, because whatever there's an emergency, you got to take your son to the hospital or something. Really? But she's going to go off on a girls' trip and spend money in a fancy hotel and dinners and airfare and all that? Back to the irresponsible part. Dude, you need to lay down the freaking law with your wife about money. I can't leave my kid alone, so I took him with me and plopped him in the car seat with the family tablet to watch some kid shows while I work. When I turned on the tablet, a bunch of notifications popped up from conversations between my wife and her mother, and I could clearly see that my wife said that she was going to divorce me if she came home and the house was dirty. Does she help clean up the house? Well, you're going to find out the answer to that one. Guess what? Women don't divorce their husbands because the house is messy. Well, some are crazy, but they do it because there's a million other things, and that's just like the final excuse. It did not sound like she was joking. It sounded like a foregone conclusion, like she's discussing if she's to stay in the state or move away after the divorce. Her mother also seemed to be taking it seriously. Now, I'm not the most tidy person, but our house looks like you'd expect any house with a 3-year-old to look. Cluttered, but not completely disgusting. We don't really have enough storage in our kitchen, so our countertops tend to collect things that we use frequently. She says she wants our kitchen to look like the ones on TikTok, but we're always making PB&Js, etc., so jars and commonly used utensils tend to live on the counter. So anybody that has small children or been to people's houses with small children tend to know, yeah, there's clutter and there's toys everywhere and stuff like that. It's hard having kids, let alone little kids and babies, you know? And is she helping out with the chores? Well, we'll find out in a second here. We both tidy up when we have time. I do all the grocery shopping, all the cooking, and we split the rest of the housework evenly. Smack! Unless she's working overtime, why isn't she doing part of the grocery shopping? Why isn't she doing part of the cooking? And as for the housework evenly, clearly not. Her only real solo chores are bath time with our son and putting the dishes into the dishwasher. She lets them pile up and does them about once a week and complains about how much work it is. Newsflash, it's not that difficult to put plates and silverware and bowls into the dishwasher, put a little thing of soap in there and push the start button and take things out of the dishwasher in 2 hours. But she's that lazy. And you're going to see how lazy she is. I've asked her if she wants to switch chores, and she always gets angry and says no because she is a bad cook. Fair enough. Then learn to cook. Watch YouTube. Learn by scrambling and frying an egg. Or something, or cooking some freaking toast. Start small and work your way up. Don't believe this bad cook nonsense. She's just lazy. And you are dumb enough to buy into that crap. Here's where it gets weird, though. She just recently had a talk with me about how I don't respond quickly enough to her texts while I'm at work. And this gives her massive anxiety because she starts to think that I secretly hate her and want to leave her. Gaslighting. He's on the job. And if he's in a business meeting or working with a client, he can't just stop a meeting or a meeting with a client to just respond to her texts about stupid bullshit. I assure her that's not the case, and that's because I'm busy working. I have a job where lots of people are talking to me about time-sensitive tasks. She seemed a little relieved by my response, and now I find out that she's thinking about leaving me anyway, which makes no sense if she's scared I'm going to leave her. I thought maybe this was some kind of defense mechanism, but the conversation with her mother happened after I told her that I still love her and I'm happy being with her. So you're giving a gal who treats you like crap, and I'm not even finished with the whole her treating him like crap thing. Reassurance. What's the most powerful thing a guy can do in terms of like a woman's mistreating him? Walk away. And through his reassurance and all that, tells her he's not going anywhere. She can be lazy with the chores. And by the way, it doesn't say anything about her having a job. I don't hear anything about that. So all she does is let the dishes pile up and give the kid a bath once, and that's it. So she knows darn well by her treating him this way, he ain't going anywhere. Hence the bad treatment. And of course, he doesn't check her. Some added context. She recently discovered TikTok and immediately developed what I think is an unhealthy relationship with the app. I've expressed some concern, but she's a grown woman, so I figure she can spend her free time however she wants. I have an idea. She can spend some of that free time learning to cook, or put the dishes in the dishwasher, or get her ass off the couch. She's another one of these TikTok losers. I sometimes tease her that she always has her face buried in her phone now because of TikTok. She just laughs it off. This is her main after-work activity, though. She lays on the couch or in bed and scrolls through those videos in TikTok. That time she spends watching all that bullshit when you're cooking and cleaning and grocery shopping, she can be doing something constructive around the house. But instead she's watching TikTok. Something tells me these two don't have the SCX very often. Something tells me she probably doesn't hit the gym and take care of her body because she's watching TikTok. Something tells me she's doing everything she can to avoid this guy because she doesn't love him and give a shit about him. While she was packing for her trip, she told me about a TikTok video she saw where a woman left her husband with the child for 11 days, and when she came home, the house was a disaster. I've not seen this video, so I can't really comment on it, but 11 days with no support from your spouse seems like a pretty long time to me. She was disgusted with how the guy didn't clean up enough before his wife came home, and said that he must have done it to punish her. I can't help but notice that she saw this video right before the conversation with her mother. Again, she's one of these TikTok idiots. Try 11 days with a small child. Yeah, that house is going to be messy. Also, a few weeks ago, she accused me of, listen to this, malicious incompetence. She couldn't explain what it was, but she saw a TikTok video where somebody was talking about their maliciously incompetent husband, and I guess she felt like it applied to me. She actually called you maliciously incompetent. She's now insulting you. All these things you're doing and all the things she's doing. She's immature with TikTok. She's lazy. She's irresponsible with money. And now she's insulting you. Does this seem like a marriage worth preserving, gentlemen? No. She has no respect for this guy. Treats him like shit. And he allows it. I was pretty offended by this as I bust my ass to keep our home afloat. I asked her for an example and she could not give me one. See, of course she couldn't give you one. She's miserable, let's be honest. She's miserable, checked out, wants to be out, and is finding anything she can to just take shit out on him and all that. Let's be honest here. A few days later, when I came home from shopping with her son, she told me that I was being maliciously incompetent for not buying oranges at the store. Oranges were not the family shopping list we keep in the fridge. When I was at the store, I asked my son, the primary fruit eater in the house, what fruit he wanted, and he said bananas. So that is what I bought. But she insisted that if I were not maliciously incompetent, I would have gotten oranges too. Dude, she's an a-hole. She is just a mean, miserable a-hole. This marriage is not happy. It ain't going anywhere. End it. I can't help but wonder if these were truly her feelings or just venting or trying to feel solidarity with these My Husband Sucks TikTok videos. I want to talk to you about it right now, but I feel like I should wait until she gets back. I don't want to ruin her trip with an argument. How do I approach this conversation with her when she gets back? Smack. Okay, Mr. Nice Guy, you're going to let her treat you like crap, talk to you like crap, talk down to you, but you don't want to upset her and ruin her trip. You need to lay down the freaking law with her and not let her talk to you like this and walk all over you. But you're walking on eggshells with her. And no woman ever in the history of mankind has ever respected a man who walks on eggshells around her. At all. You know, I mean, she's an a-hole completely. But this guy's helping the situation. This guy's classic Mr. Nice Guy who probably thought he got himself a catch years ago. No, he didn't. I'm feeling a million different emotions right now. I don't want to lose my wife and son. Smack. Bro, newsflash, you already lost her. Now it's time to get your dignity back. I could just clean the house super well and pretend like I never saw the message. But I think that would eat away at me, knowing that she was thinking about leaving me over something so stupid. She's not leaving you over something over that. She's leaving you over everything else that she's miserable about. She actually thinks at 37 years old that she's going to find somebody better. You know, come on, her prime has gone bye-bye. And who is she to say there won't be another secret ultimatum in the future? I can't play that game forever. Part of me just wants to print out the divorce papers and hand them to her when she gets home to see what her reaction is. Because I honestly can't tell how serious she is about the whole thing. There's an idea, bro. That'll show her you're not messing around. Now, she may try to call your bluff because you've been so Mr. Nice Guy. But when she really thinks that you're done, watch how miraculously Niagara Falls comes out of her eyeballs. And then there's a big temporarily attitude adjustment. But at the same time, I don't want to make it worse if she truly is on the fence about it. You're afraid to make it worse. Again, you're afraid to rock the boat, which is why she treats you like shit, dude. She's made jokes listen to this. She's made jokes in the past, at least I thought they were jokes, about leaving me for a sugar daddy and having one foot out the door, but these were said in a joking manner, and we both laughed at it. No woman that loves her husband is going to joke around saying, I'm going to leave you for a sugar daddy. And by the way, who is she kidding? She's in her late 30s. She had a kid, okay? Even if she looks fantastic for her age, and don't get me wrong, there's darn good-looking gals in their late 30s, I know. Trust me, I know. Still, she's almost 40. She's not in her prime. And any guys she thinks she's going to get as a sugar daddy are going to have to be probably in their 60s at this point. Again, this recent conversation with her mom did not sound like a joke to me. This has shared my world. I'm not thinking clearly anymore. You're not thinking clearly. You need me to smack you. I'm not sure I can go back to the way things were. I don't know if this relationship is even salvageable. It's not. I can't tell if she's gone crazy or if I'm actually as useless as the TikTok husband I keep hearing about and just don't know. Nothing makes sense anymore. Dude, you have made mistakes, but you know what? She's a giant a-hole, and you should not put up with this shit. He also says, I'm going to take a break now. My head hurts and I've let my kid watch more and more Lucas the Spider that I'm comfortable with. Blah, blah, blah. You gave me a lot to think about. Well, except for the people that commented before reading the post, I'm going to clean the house as well as I can tonight and print out the divorce papers. There you go. But it's not, what are you going on, like LegalZoom or some other things, just printing them out? I mean, obviously you had to meet with a lawyer or something here. I don't know if I'll do anything with them, but if she's really determined to leave me, then there's not much I can do. But anyway, so I might as well try to make it amicable. If that's what it comes down to. I'll try to update, but she's probably not going to be home before the 40-hour time limit on updates is passed. So I might just have to edit the post. So, there you go. What this guy needs to do is end it. This is nothing salvageable about this marriage. She is an a-hole. Again, if she was just being bitchy, that's one thing. That's bad enough. But the fact that she's irresponsible with money, and by the way, in the comments section, he mentioned they have, I think he said that they have a credit card that has a $20,000 limit on it. And I think he says they presently have $13,000 in debt that they're paying interest on every month. Now, there's obviously people who way more than that, but the point is, that ain't good. They are deficit spending in their household budget, and now she's slapping on another $1,000. He thinks this girl trip would cost him $1,000 or something like that. They need to fix the car. But they can't do that because they don't have the money to do that. And she's going on a girls trip. So she's irresponsible with money. That's bad. She's an a-hole how she disrespects him and talks down and treats him like crap. She's lazy in the fact that she can't help out more around the house. And she's immature with her whole TikTok nonsense. This is not a good situation here. And she's no doubt either cheating or planning on cheating and going on this girls trip to like have them talk her up to prepare for this divorce. And the worst thing is, in spite of how she behaves, and she divorced him, she'll probably make out like a bandit because they probably live in a no-fault divorce state. This guy should beat her to it. This is not salvageable. End it. That's what you need to do. And I'm sure he's like, I don't want to have my kid grow up in a broken home, and I don't want to lose custody of my son, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, that's definitely an understandable thing. But do you want to spend the next 15 years until your son's 18 with this woman who treats you like dog shit? Now, some people say SSM. If he sits her down and tells her how he feels, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he could do that, but I think she'll laugh at him. The only thing this guy can do, if he really wants to preserve this, is she gets home and says, we're going to have a talk right now, and you're going to fucking listen. This is how things are going. And lay down the law with her. And if that doesn't work, I'm out of here. End of story. And he has to mean it. He can't half-ass it. But even then, I just don't see this salvageable. So I think 60% or so around that number in the U.S. end in divorce. And then what percentage beyond that, people are married but miserable. You want that kid to grow up in a miserable household like this, or the kid will end up in a household just like that one day? That's what I think. Now, a few comments before I wrap this up. One guy says, I've seen the video of the trashed house your wife's talking about. It isn't that he didn't clean up while she was gone. He purposely trashed the house because she was gone for 11 days. She's also referring to weaponized incompetence. It doesn't sound like that's what you are. It seems like she's trying to figure out how to leave you, and these TikToks are giving her ideas. Probably. Another one says here, there seems to be more problems in your relationship than you were realizing. Housekeeping isn't the issue despite all these comments. Weaponized incompetence isn't the issue. Your wife is unhappy and looking for reasons to leave. Oh, I agree she's unhappy. She's miserable. She's a miserable a-hole. You two apparently aren't communicating and working as a team at this expensive trip. Would have never been on the table if she wouldn't be discussing your relationship in such negative terms with her mother. She won't be demanding immediate responses to your text messages either. You simply tell your wife the truth when she gets home. Now listen to this part. We got Mr. Rogers here. You turn on the tablet and you saw the messages. You need to tell her how those messages made you feel. How her contribution to the household makes you feel. How her expensive trip despite your finances made you feel. How discussing your marriage with her mother and not you made you feel. How her time on social media makes you feel. How her unnecessary accusations make you feel. Again, who the fuck is this Mr. Rogers? No, you don't do this feeling crap because she's going to think you're an even bigger pussy. You need to sit her down and lay down the law and say, this is how things are going to go. Period. Act like a fucking man. In fact, she'll probably respect you for that. She may throw a temper tantrum and start spinning around like the Tasmanian devil out of anger, but she'll at least respect you for acting like a man, even though she won't act like it in the moment. No, this is not salvageable, for goodness sake. This guy babbles on with his feelings crap, but I'm not trying to help any... I don't want you guys to become Mr. Rogers here, so I'm going to finish with his shit. But anyhow, Another guy says here, you have major communication problems. You need to be speaking to each other about these things. Wife sounds very childish and impressionable. Why is she going away with friends when you can't afford to get your car repaired? This is not how a responsible person behaves. That's why I said in the beginning she's irresponsible. She's probably going on this girls' trip to have them back her up and tell her it's okay and divorce them. That's probably what's going on. I guarantee your girlfriends know everything that's going on. The last one says, if it was me, I would do a massive cleanup and show you are not a useless TikTok husband. And then tell her you saw the messages and really didn't like the way she said that to her mom. Explain to her that you work hard to support her and pull your weight around the house. Yeah, that's going to go well. Then tell her that you want to go with your friends for a few days, and if the house is not immaculate when you come back, you'll be serving her with divorce papers. Hey, I like that. See how she reacts to that, which will most likely be bad, and then flip it and say, see how hurt you are, but what I just said, that's how I feel. Like she cares. Then walk away, leave the house for a few hours, and say you need some space. She'll be begging for forgiveness when you get back. I don't think so. I think the only way she'll be begging for forgiveness is if the guy should have had divorce papers and showed he was serious and backed away for a while. Then there'll be some crying in Niagara Falls. But anyhow, guys, I don't need to read anymore. But the point of this whole thing is, gentlemen, is that you can see all right there. She doesn't give a shit about him. And why stay married to someone like this? But she's an a-hole, and he needs to kick her to the curb. But also, the problem is also this guy. He's too nice, and he's too afraid to rock the boat and stand up to her and stand up for himself, as all guys should. Newsflash, as I haven't said this 16,000 times already, the biggest problem in all these stories when these wives and girlfriends treat their husbands or boyfriends terrible and cheat on them and do these things is because they have no respect for the guy. Because the guys have no backbone. They don't stand up for themselves. They have no self-worth, self-esteem. And these gals typically marry these guys because they're easy. They'll put a ring on their finger and resources. If a woman doesn't respect you, she doesn't love you. And if a guy doesn't stand up for himself, she won't respect him. So, this guy needs to end it with her. It's not salvageable to this, in my opinion. A lot of people disagree with me, but I say no. And this guy needs to work on himself to get some tough love from some guys telling him this is why things went to hell in a handbasket, aside from the fact that she's a selfish a-hole. And if he gets divorced, and it means that he gets hammered and divorced, and she gets the kid most of the time, and he has to start over, better than being married to her, and better than having your kid grow up in a household where he sees this going on. That kid grew up to be totally pee-whipped himself and be treated like crap from women, because they'll think that's how it is. But I hope this guy does the right thing, and I hope he learns his lesson. We shall see. But we can all learn from his situation what not to do for all you relationship types. And for the rest of you guys that aren't relationship types, this type of crap only backs up why you are not relationship types. And you're perfectly happy on your own, doing what you love with your dog or your cats like me or whatever. And that's that, proving why men are backing away from marriages and relationships. Anyway. Alright guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And guys, you find a good story like to share, definitely email to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just give me some time to get to it. I definitely will when I get the chance. And be sure to like the video, share it with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.